here to talk about our signature mission. A signature mission is a mission we support with our largest grant funds. Every year we look at several grant requests and have to choose one. This year the mission committee has chosen a partnership as a signature mission. We've never done that before, but when you hear about these wonderful organizations, you'll understand why we have chosen these two for our 2023-24 signature mission. And the names of these partnerships are Care Beyond the Boulevard and Cherith Brook Catholic Worker. Care Beyond the Boulevard's mission is to ensure homelessness, uninsured, and otherwise vulnerable members of this community have access to quality medical and mental health facilities. They operate from a few clinics, and they have a bus that goes around town meeting people in parking lots, in parks, encampments, or wherever there is a need. Many of you may know one of our committee members is Jenny Beal, and she has always been very involved in the Dominican Republic missions. When she was with us and we went to visit Care Beyond the Boulevard, she said, "This looks just like the Dominican Republic, but it's right here in our neighborhood." Cherith Brook Catholic Workers is the other part of this partnership. They're a community of hospitality where they serve those living in poverty and homelessness. It's a place the homeless can go for a shower, clean clothes, haircuts, a healthy meal, and most of all, friendship. They also have a clinic used by Care Beyond the Boulevard. When we visited their facility, we felt like we were seeing the Matthew 25 parable as Christ intended it to be. They see each of their guests as if Jesus Christ is walking in the door. Here to give you more information are KK Osman, a nurse practitioner and CEO of Care Beyond the Boulevard, and Reverend Eric Garbison, founder of Cherith Brook Catholic Worker. Please help me welcome KK and Eric.
Thank you so much. Thank you all for supporting us and for choosing us as the mission for this year. As she said, I'm KK Osman. I'm a family nurse practitioner and the founder of Care Beyond the Boulevard. And Care Beyond the Boulevard was founded 8 years ago because I saw a need for people who are experiencing homelessness and poverty to get health care. So I lived in Johnson County, and in my Johnson County bubble, I didn't realize that people didn't have access to care, right? But I saw people coming to one of the soup kitchens I was volunteering at, and they would say, well, where can they get blood pressure medicine? Where can they get, all of these things that they need? And we were in the Northeast, which is where Cherith Brook is located. And so I said, well, I'm going to start a clinic. And long story short, that's what I did. So when we started out of the back of a pickup, and people kept coming to us, right? We were talking about this earlier today, that we do look like the Dominican, and it's right here in Kansas City. People who are lacking access to health care sometimes have health insurance, but they have so many barriers. When you're living on the streets, you have barriers to access to health care, to routine medications. A lot of times, you might have a doctor's appointment. I don't know about you, I put it in my calendar. They don't have calendars, right? They may have a phone that they've gotten, but it's been stolen or lost. So what we're trying to do is to bridge those gaps. We have 9 clinics per week. Last year, we saw 2,800 patients and 9,000 visits. That's a lot. All of our clinics have a fully licensed provider, either a physician or a nurse practitioner, who see the patients and treat them where they are. That's the whole goal of what we do, is meeting people where they are. And we say that both literally and figuratively, right? So we have people who maybe have some barriers, mental barriers, to getting some care or to taking care of themselves how we think they should do that, but we meet them where they are. We let them drive that. And it's very important to us. We do have a big green bus that we take out on the streets, and this grant has actually springboarded us to be able to get a new bus. Our bus is about 3 years old, and it's worth about $1,000, and we pay more than that in repairs every year. So I actually ordered a new bus that should hopefully be ready mid-year. Right, exactly. We're super excited about that. The bus has a custom, it's a medical clinic, right? Anything you would go to your doctor for is what patients see us for. The partnership with Cherith Brook began during COVID, believe it or not. They were one of the few organizations along with us that were still serving people who were experiencing homelessness. If you think about it, everybody was just trying to stay in, stay away. But people who are living on the streets don't really have that option. And so Eric contacted me and said, hey, do you think you could do a clinic here? Sure. Like, we're not doing anything else, right? So we started going to Cherith. It's a valuable partnership for us because while we go to where people are, we meet them on the streets, but sometimes it's easier if you can say, hey, can you follow up with me inside? Or even we have people who maybe need their blood pressure checked more than once a week, or a wound checked, and we can say, hey, come down to Cherith so we can follow up with you. So that's how that partnership began. We value that partnership and the work that we do together. One of the things that I always say is stay in your lane. They do those social service things very well, and we do medicine very well, and together we can provide better services for the people that we're serving. So we really appreciate you all considering this new collaborative effort, because it really is, it takes us all, and we appreciate that.
So I'm Eric, and yes, I am one of the co-founders of Cherith Brook, but all that means is I've lived there longer than anybody else. There are amazing people that live and work in our community of hospitality. A couple of are here tonight, Ray Callahan and Luis Lara, and both of them, both of them are leaders in our community and meet weekly to plan out the work that we do and invest a deep amount of time and energy in doing repairs. And Luis is one of our cooks for breakfast, and they give of their lives and their time and their talents to do the work. And we believe that people closest to the bottom are closest to the solution. You ever heard that before? People closest to the bottom are closest to the solution. That's a mutual aid way of looking at the world. In other words, we're not asking you to come to Care Beyond the Boulevard to do charity. We're saying you need to come to Care Beyond the Boulevard because you will be transformed in the process. And you realize that you have something to give, but you also have something to receive. You come to Cherith Brook not because you have something to give down to help someone up, but because we need to level the playing field. We need mutuality in our world. And we try to create a space where everyone can volunteer and everyone can receive something, whether it's in the form of a guest. If you don't need a shower, that's okay, but you could have a hot breakfast or a cup of coffee. That's the kind of space that we try to nurture. And it takes a lot of work because we've created a world where those things aren't natural for us, right? Everything about our existence is ways that we can differentiate ourselves from one another. And it doesn't deny that we are different, but that's not the goal of the community's life. So if you go to the streets of the Northeast and you say, where's Cherith Brook? They'll probably tell you, I don't know, I've never heard of that place before. Many of you probably don't even know what Cherith Brook means. It's an Old Testament word. But they'll say, oh, you mean the shower house? This place where people can come because they've been there to shower, or maybe they brought a friend. And as someone already said, as Becky already said, because they know that when you welcome someone who doesn't have clothing or a shower, and you welcome in a way that helps them to reclaim their humanity, they do feel like Christ incognito, right? And it doesn't matter if they're hungry or thirsty or a person without a home. It doesn't matter if they're a felon or if they're gay or straight or if they're transgendered. It doesn't matter if they're a person of color, transgendered, and a sex worker. It doesn't matter. Because when you welcome them in, you experience the way the incarnation works in your midst. It's a powerful, powerful experience. So we do very simple things. We have a porta potty that we have the only public toilet in the Northeast neighborhood, right? And it's open at 7 in the morning and it closes at 7 at night because I walk out early in the morning and I unlock it, and Ray locks it up at night, right? And our guests are sitting out there in the morning, and it's a beautiful experience because they're taking a list for themselves. They're creating a list because they're usually there 4, 5, 6, and we don't open until 8:30. So a group has already started up outside of our community of hospitality. So I invite you to come and experience it. It's kind of one of those come and see kind of places. It's small, but we know our neighbors deeply, and most of our community comes from the neighborhood. I would say 60 to 70% of our neighbors grew up in the Northeast neighborhood. We are deeply grateful for our partnership with Care Beyond the Boulevard. They helped us immensely during COVID. I was afraid. I was terrified. Every morning, we could not turn away our guests, but we were concerned for our own health. And what if we got our guests infected, right? It was a very frightening time, but Care Beyond the Boulevard, their presence in our life transformed that and helped us to navigate that. And then our partnership grew from there. And we're so thrilled that some of the space that we're rehabbing in our building will make for a better clinic for them. We're basically also doing, with the monies that you give us, redoing the storefront windows, because during COVID we did what everybody else did. We started a project. We took out the siding, and we realized we had a lot of problems. So we'll have better accessible doors and a brand new storefront window, and it will not only make it more environmentally friendly, it'll also make it more beautiful. And as one of my theological heroes says, the world will be saved by beauty. The poor need beauty and deserve beauty in their life, so we're looking forward to that element. We're so grateful for your generosity and for your partnership, and we hope you come and see.